But I think the quality is very, very good. Yeah, even better than those Chinese audiobooks. You
Oh,
can find many audiobooks in this program, um, but their recordings, although they're also very good, but I
yeah.
think you have your feelings, yeah, in your reading, and mm,
I suppose, as they say, it doesn't matter whether you speak with an English accent or not. It's what yourself are. If you can speak clearly, that's good enough. Because you are not
yes,
English,
yeah,
so it's not expected of you to speak like a native speaker. It's all very
mm,
well if you can, but it doesn't matter if you can't.
mm, mm. Yeah, I know English accent is very, very popular in China.
Yeah,
Many
it's very
people
popular with the
prefer
Chinese. Mm,
the English accent. Yeah, the others may have a preference to the American
yeah,
accent.
mm,
These two accents are very,
very
very
popular.
popular. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I don't think your accent is the standard, the long the accent around London area. I
It's
mean,
just I never
uh,
change because you are yourself.
mhm,
So, if you are yourself, you don't worry about it and you just
yeah,
don't worry about changing what you sound like. So after
mm,
despite living here for so many years, I think I'm
mm.
just, myself as I first came.
Oh, I see. So,
Yeah.
so the accent is the same in the whole England. I think England is not very big, so there not much difference between the accents in different places. Is there a very huge difference?
There's a lot of difference. There is a lot
Mm,
of difference. If you were to go to YouTube and you type in listen to the local British accents, and then you will
mm,
get somebody displaying the different accents because England, like any other country, is got very local accents. If you come from one area in England, like the north, you will speak differently from somebody from the south. And
mm,
basically, the ones in the north will speak with a strong accent. Likewise, in Scotland, if you came from Glasgow, you would not understand what they say because it is very
mm.
strong.
Oh,
Similarly, the accent from Ireland and from Wales, Ireland is very strong. Wales is a bit
mm,
sing song, very lyrical.
mm,
So they
mm,
are different. Just like Australian accent is different from New Zealand accent. So unless
yeah.
you've heard it, you wouldn't know the difference. But in England, definitely you can detect the difference. If somebody spoke to you and he's from Liverpool or from Birmingham, they will speak with a strong local accent that it's difficult to
Mm,
catch some of their words.
mm.
Yeah,
So when we are talking about the English accent, is the accent particularly around London
London.
area or London?
Yeah, I
Oh,
think yeah, they call it like London and the Southeast. So their
mm,
accent is more of a standard accent. But if you say
mm,
London, the east end of London, that will be different because the east end of London traditionally is a working class area and
mm,
they have got
mm,
their working class accent. So it's called a
mm.
Cockney accent. So that is different.
Yeah, yeah. I learned about that in some of my
Yeah,
courses. Is that in the working for the working class people, they prefer to pronounce like ba,
yeah.
yeah, something
They
like
don't
that.
say it.
They
Yeah,
call the
they
glottal
swallow.
stop. Mm,
Yeah,
mm,
they do. Yeah. But having lived here for so many years, I I
mm,
usually can pick out what they say, even if they come from Liverpool or Newcastle
mm,
or
mm,
Yorkshire, all those.
mm,
But we lived here, so you can hear what they say, even though they've got their own local accent.
mm. Yeah, so the difference, so although there are some differences,
It's just a
in different
sound.
places.
Mm.
Yes, but the difference are not so huge,
Yeah,
too huge to to let the other people to make somebody cannot understand what you
yeah,
are saying.
yeah,
It's like but in Chinese different, yeah. Mm, the accents can be another language. It's totally different.
yeah,
Mm,
yeah. That's true.
okay, and so you've recommended your channel, this Malaya channel, to your students. So what's about their feedback about no?
Well, I recommended to one or two. They'll just come back and say, "Yeah, that's very good," and they listen to it. But then don't tell you a lot because these are people like they're not regulars. They are new people that I've met. I would just say, "Oh,
Mm,
if you want, you can listen to this," you know. So they listen to it. Um,
mm,
I don't know whether it's good or not, but they don't really tell me. I mean, one or two might say, it's a good thing, what you've done, blah blah blah, that sort of thing.
mm. Yeah, I think yeah, it's also very meaningful to do that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
good. Yeah, it's good that when you're talking to people on Hello Talk, then they ask you the same old questions. They'll come on and they say, "Where are you from?" So
Mm.
I'll usually say, "Read my introduction," because I don't want to repeat the same old answer.
Yeah.
So and then I
Yes.
say, "If you want to find out a bit more, just watch my Billy. Then they'll say,
Yeah.
"Oh, you've got a Billy. Wow, that's
Mm.
great." So they'll watch it.
Mm.
So and then they'll get to know you a bit more. Because otherwise they ask you
Oh.
all the stupid questions because they don't even bother to read it.
Mm. Yeah, I see. Mm.
Yeah.
And maybe in the future you can find a book to read from beginning to end. You
But
know,
it will be too
uh,
long.
uh, you don't have to read the whole book at once. You can
Just read a
divide it
chapter at a time
into
in,
yeah,
into
divide
sessions.
into
Yeah.
yeah many sections. Each section can last for 2 or 3 minutes. It's okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't to be
Okay.
long. Mm, yeah,
Yeah.
but you have to find a easy, a simple book that most of us
Mm,
can understand. Mm,
yeah.
there should not be many um, words that we don't know. Otherwise, yeah,
Yeah.
we find it too difficult to
Yeah.
follow. Yeah. Mm,
Okay. I will have a look.
mm. Okay. And look, I must tell you the temperature here jumps by 10 degrees Celsius today. Yeah. Yesterday it was about 10 degrees Celsius around. Yeah, it's pretty comfortable, warm.
Yeah.
But today, and even even this morning, it's still the temperatures was still very close to 10 degrees Celsius. But in the afternoon, it started to rain, and temperature
Yeah.
went down rapidly, dramatically, and yeah, it dropped by 10 degrees Celsius. And because it rained at first, as the temperature going down, the rain changed into snow. Actually, it's
Yeah.
snowing right now outside.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
it's very,
nice.
very, yeah, it's very cold now. And in
Usually,
Shanghai,
when it's very
mhm,
cold, then it will start to snow.
yes, yeah. But in Shanghai, it's hardly to, you can only
To find
see
snow.
1 or 2 times, yeah,
Yeah. It's the same with
in a
us.
year. Mm.
Mm.
So how's the temperature
Ours,
in England?
ours is 3 degrees.
Oh, it's very similar. Yeah.
Yeah, 3 degrees, and it's very cold.
Mm,
You can feel it the
mm,
minute you open the door. You can feel it's so cold. And
as long as
they
you
say
don't
it
go
was going
out,
to,
yeah.
yeah, so
Mm,
long as they don't go out. They say today it was going to snow, but there was only a tiny bit. By the time it reached the ground, it became water, so it's sleet. But
mm,
maybe on
mm.
Thursday it might snow. I'll see.
Oh, mm,
Sometimes they predict snow, but it's not quite accurate. So like today,
mm,
there wasn't any.
mm. As
Yeah.
people in the south of China, they're always looking forward to see the snow because it's
Yeah.
very rare for southern
For them.
China to snow. Yeah, and and mm,
In the
we're
north,
so
there's a
excited.
lot of
Yeah,
snow. Mm.
yeah, yeah. It's in north. Yeah, it's much colder, and
Yeah.
I don't like. I only like the snow about the
Yeah,
north.
so do I.
For other
I don't
aspects,
like this
yeah, I
the
don't.
cold.
Yeah, cold and the climate and
Yeah.
the weather there. Yeah.
Also, after it snowed, the ground is very, very slippery. So it's very
Mm,
difficult to walk on it. It's very
mm,
dangerous
mm.
as well. You can easily fall.
Yes. Yeah.
So I don't like that
Yeah.
bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
And and I also heard. I listened to the news. As I said, I've subscribed some English
Yeah.
news
Channels. Yeah.
mm, channels. Yeah, and I heard that mm, the supermarket in England introduced the policy of how's it that there's a purchasing limit for
They've already
some
done that
goods.
ages ago. With the first lockdown, they did that. And now they're also
Mm,
still doing it. You can't just pick 10 lots of one item because it means
mm,
that other people cannot have it. So
yes.
they've already introduced that ages ago. Um, like certain items that they know they are short of, they will
Yeah,
not allow you
I
to
heard
pick
it's
more than one
eggs,
each. Yeah, eggs
eggs,
and all that
rice,
because they will run out. Yeah.
and
The
toilet
last
roll. Yeah.
toilet rolls, the last
Mm,
lockdown, they ran out of flour to make cakes and eggs and toilet rolls and um, and hand sanitizers
mm,
and um, hand antibacterial hand wash and that sort of thing. They ran out,
mm,
but since then they got their supplies going, and now since they say they're going to have the lockdown, people got panicking again. And but my son still goes to the supermarket, and this morning he went and he bought some items. But my
mm,
husband and I, we order about twice a week from the online supermarket, so
mm,
they deliver.
mm,
So we
mm,
we have all our things. We are not short of anything.
mm.
Yeah.
And and you said it's because France
Yeah,
stopped
they
uh,
say that in the new
the
year.
transportation
Yeah, in the
from
new
France.
year, they say that
Mm,
we will probably be short of fresh vegetables
mm,
because they come from the continent. But
mm,
during this Christmas, there were hundreds of trucks, lorries, which were stuck
mm,
in Dover because they
mm,
go over to Dover and return to France.
mm,
Because Dover then go over to the port in France, and France
mm,
closed the border because of the
mm,
virus.
mm.
So all
Yes.
these lorries were stuck in Dover, and
Mm,
the government got the army out, and they helped to give these lorry drivers uh, the what do you call it the test. So if they were
mm.
tested negative, then France
Mhm.
allowed them to go through.
Oh, I
So
see.
only very few were positive. The majority of them were negative. So those lorries
Mm,
went through, and now it's clear now. Whereas before, you can look
mm,
at the pictures, the whole of the whole ground was filled with lorries, in so many sections and queuing up, and they can't do anything. They spent Christmas
mm,
in their lorries.
mm. Oh,
Yeah, so terrible.
yeah.
But
Yes,
anyway,
that's terrible.
now they signed the deal, so um, by 1st of January, we'll be out of the EU.
Oh,
Yeah.
if
So
Britain
I'm glad.
is out of EU,
Yeah.
it would be more difficult for the lawyers, the chart,
No,
uh,
what happens
to
is
enter
they
England.
will there will be differences on both sides. So they will have new laws and to pass through, but
Mm,
basically they will still negotiate trade deals with Europe, and you may have to pay more. That's all. And also
mm,
you can negotiate deals with other countries like maybe Australia and Canada, any other
mm,
country.
mm. Oh,
So
I
in a
see.
way, it's good because being in
Mm,
the EU, while it's convenient, but we had to
mm,
subsidize the common market for so many years because
mm,
you're richer, so therefore you got to pay up for the to subsidize the rest.
yes. And
Yeah. So
uh, under the so uh, the lockdown measures are still working
yeah, it's bad.
in,
In
yeah.
England, they as they say, the
Does it
virus
get any
has
better?
mutated. No, it's not
Mm,
better. The virus has mutated, and the number of people getting infected is spreading very, very rapidly, even
mm,
more than in the first lockdown. So
mm,
compared now and the first time, now it's worse, and the
mm,
hospitals are getting all filled up. So
mm,
they had new hospitals on the site to cater for. Since the first lockdown, they had new hospitals which they could fill up
mm,
the beds if necessary. But unfortunately, there are no workers, there are no nurses and doctors to man the hospitals, so they can't fill up those new hospitals. So that
mm.
is the situation. So
So
because
people are
the
still
people
not.
did not listen,
Mm, mm,
no, because the people did not listen, therefore the rate went up, and now because they found this new strain, it is also
mm,
spreading up very, very rapidly. So now they say that at the moment, when school reopens in January, only the primary, that means the junior school, will go back. In the senior school, in only 2 years, the older 2 years will go back, but the rest cannot go back to school because
mm,
according to the research, is the intermediate level of children who will catch it. So it's a
mm,
risk to send them back to school
yeah. And
because they've been
and
doing the
this
research on it.
and today there are China reports that 20 or near 20 locally transmitted cases. Uh, and most of all of them are in the
Huh?
north. Almost half of
Oh,
them, the newly confirmed cases, locally transmitted cases,
yeah.
are found in Beijing, and so
Oh,
so the government asked the schools uh,
not to open.
to start no to start to end this semester or to start the winter vacation earlier
Yeah,
than
yeah.
usual
That's you
as
see, that is
planned.
right. Mm, because that is the right thing to do. Because if you know that it's going to spread and the children will suffer from it, then they shouldn't be going to school.
Mm. And usually, as planned, as a plan, the schools will be closed for the winter vacation
Yeah,
at the end of January. At the end of January,
yeah.
and because of uh, the ongoing
The new cases, yeah,
coronavirus, yeah, new cases, and the government decided to close the schools on 16th of January,
yeah.
and
Mm,
they can continue to have classes online. and
Yeah.
and usually the winter vacation will last for a month because
Yeah.
this year's uh, Chinese New Year
Yeah.
is around in the middle of February.
Yeah.
I think it's 12,
Yeah.
uh, 12th of February.
Yeah.
Mm,
And I read that one woman in China,
mhm,
she reported on the virus in Wuhan, and
mhm,
she went to court, and they given her 4 years imprisonment for reporting that. I
Sorry,
don't
what
know
did you
whether
say? I
you
didn't
read
catch
it.
you.
There was a woman in China
Mhm,
who reported, in her writing and maybe her
Oh,
videos and pictures, and she
mhm.
ended up with 4 years imprisonment.
I don't know which woman you are referring to, but there's a writer called Fang Fang. He she was in
I
Wuhan.
don't know if it's her. Ah,
I don't know. I don't
maybe it's
think
her.
it's no, actually no, because
Oh, it's not.
she's fine. She's
Oh,
totally fine. And
oh,
that woman, she's so. Mm, actually, she is a writer in Wuhan, and
yeah.
she is even the chairman of the all the writers. There's an
Ah,
organization of the writers
yeah,
chairman. Actually,
yeah.
she got a very high position in the government, and
Oh,
during the outbreak uh, of the of the coronavirus at the beginning of this year in Wuhan, and she started to write the diary. It's called the
mm.
Fang Fang Diary. I don't know whether you've heard it.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I read a
that
bit,
diary
but I don't think this one is
actually,
her. This one is another person.
but for her, she is very she got like millions of fans on the social media, and
Ah,
all it has write is is fake. If separated by herself because
oh,
yes, those are all fake news, sep- mm, and that's why almost all people in China, especially the young generation, hate her back. She's totally
oh,
fine, and she was not she doesn't get any punishment, and she
oh. Then
still
it's another
kept in the
person.
position.
Yeah,
Mm,
it's another person. I don't know her
You
name.
know,
I just read it
even
briefly.
even um, because she fabricated a lot of
Oh, oh,
mm, stories like
yeah,
she put posted picture of many
yeah.
uh, phones. The phones were not even smartphones. That's those traditional old phones. It said those are the
Oh,
phones of dead
yeah,
people, but actually that is not the truth. And that
yeah,
picture, because nowadays nobody use those
yeah.
traditional phones, and
Mm.
it's and other people found that picture was from uh,
Oh,
other from a very old uh,
yeah.
website. Old, yeah, and
Mm.
there, I don't know which one you are referring to, but this woman is
Ah,
I think
fraud. It's fake.
yeah is fake. Actually, there are a lot this kind of people in China. They are called uh, common uh,
Yeah.
how say that? Actually, they, they are pretty well educated and even have a high. Uh,
Oh,
they're called even the elites in the society, but they just hate this country and especially those
mm.
writers and those professors in the universities. They just hate this country, hate this system, but they always write something. Um,
Hang
even
on, hang on a second. I'm sorry. My husband is calling me. Just a moment.
mhm,
Yeah. No. It's okay. Yeah.
mhm.
Carry on.
Yes.
This
And
this one that I've
mhm,
read is called, her name is Chang Chang.
Ch- mm, Chams, but I don't
Chang,
think I've heard about that. Yeah,
yeah, she's a journalist.
journalists. Yeah, usually those
Yeah.
journalists and writers, they all
They're all
mm,
journalists.
you
Mm,
can't say all those journalists are
mm,
reporting some fake news, but
yeah.
um, mm,
She's a
it's
lawyer
very hard to
turned
tell.
activist.
Lawyer.
Yeah. Lawyer turned activist and independent blogger. Detained in May after she
Mm,
posted dozens of videos taken
mm,
in Wuhan. Anyway,
mm.
now she's sentenced to 4 years. So who
I don't
knows?
know why she was put into
No,
the prison. Mm,
no
maybe,
idea.
mm,
Mm,
yeah, it's just very hard to tell whether
yeah,
she is guilty or not, because
yeah,
the media will just let you know
yeah. We
uh,
never know. Yeah,
part of the truth, yeah, part of the facts.
mm, that's true. That's why I never believe what people write
Mm,
because the media will just twist it.
mm.
Yeah,
And I have to say, in the West medias, yeah, lots of negative news, and this uh, misinformation about China. Yeah, usually,
yeah,
mm, so if you want, most of the readers, most of the Western people, they have never been to China, so it's very hard
yeah.
for them to tell. So if you want to know the truth, you can come to China and say what happened here. Yeah. Mm,
Yeah, that's why I'm not interested in politics. I'm not interested in everything that people write. So
mm,
whenever I see all this news, I don't read it because I'm only interested in what is going on here, like
mm,
the coronavirus and that sort of thing. Other than that, I don't bother to read all the other things because it's just rubbish. Because that's what they are paid to do. Journalists will always,
mm,
they've got a job, and that's
mm,
what their job is, to make
mm,
news. So
mm,
never believe whatever they write.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I think we should pay more attention to the
More
people's
important
livelihood.
things.
Yeah, more important. Yeah, and the
Yeah.
economy,
Mm.
not rather than
People
the
who are
politics.
suffering and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so that's why I find uh, it's very make me very how to say that hard to understand
Angry.
some countries. Not angry. It's very in some areas and countries they're
But
always focusing
this
on
is
the
what will
politics.
happen. Everywhere is the same. That's why you have to rise above it and don't waste your time reading those things. Even in Malaysia, you may watch a lot of videos and you don't know the real story. But I know
Mm,
because I was there. And
mm,
I know that, for example, that May the 13th is a very important year. May the 13th, 1969, and that's the year
mm,
when after the election, the Malays came out and went and
mm,
killed the Chinese, and they fought.
mm,
And years and years after that, no one is allowed to write or mention it in public because the
mm,
government will not tolerate it, because they are scared that
mm,
you will stir up another thing like that.
mm,
And one year, there was a Mongolian girl who went over to Malaysia. Like she was involved in deals, like maybe to
mm,
sell arms or whatever. But she
mm,
was involved with one of the ministers, and she was in an affair with him, and then she ended up being um, burned alive, killed and burned. and
mm,
and then her father later came to Malaysia to try and say that the daughter was unfairly um, treated. But
mm,
it's things like that which really is disgusting, because And also some ministers, if they are like Chinese, one minister, for example, his wife was expecting a child and he was in the opposition party and he just fell off the rooftop or wherever, you know. It's like, and then another one would just get killed, you know, for stupid reasons, just murdered. But all these things happen, and living in that country is a nice place, but you must be aware that these things happen. In China, you can
Yeah.
walk down the street and it's relatively safe. In Malaysia, you walk down the street and it's not safe because you have people like the Indians and the Malays who, for example, they are the lower class and they are out of a job, so they want to rob you. So I was walking with my sister-in-law and she was parking the car. I was just on the pavement and this motorbike came and pulled off my necklace. And this is
Oh.
so common. Yeah. So you have to, if you go back there, you just got to be alert and you got to know what is happening. One of my friends, she said she was walking along and the motorbike, they always come in the motorbike, you see. They came and followed her and she threw her handbag into her friend's garden. But the guy came after her and took it. So you have to be very careful. There are lots and lots of robberies. It's not a
Oh.
safe country compared to China.
I think as the economy develops, it will be better, I think, because if
Well, the
people
economy
are
there
well
is good,
off, are
but
rich,
but
yeah.
the thing is, it's like Hong Kong. The rich are very rich and the poor suffer. So it's always the case. It's the poor who will
Yeah.
suffer.
Mm.
In Malaysia, it's the
And there's
same.
another,
You've got no. I was saying in Malaysia, you've got all these migrant workers because they are too lazy to do all the road works and the building. So you have all the migrant workers from Bangladesh, and they will live together in apartments. And some of them do not want to go back to their home country, and so they are staying there illegally, and they are the ones who will catch the coronavirus and lots of troubles as well. I won't blame them themselves, you know, they are nice people, but because of the situation, there will always be problems. Only because the country is lazy. If they were to do the work themselves and don't employ all these migrant workers, then maybe the country will be a better place. But in fact,
yes.
everybody who can afford it will have a maid. All the people who are like professionals. If you and your husband go to work and you both are working and you got a child, your mother will not look after the child. You will employ a maid, and it's the maid who are come from Indonesia or Philippines, and that is their philosophy there, and they carry that out. So you know, what kind of place is that to
Yeah, there's
rely
another
on these
issue
workers?
in Malaysia is that uh, there are many races, there are more races. Yeah,
There are
maybe.
races, and there are Chinese, Indians, Malays, and generally they are all fine. But you can go there and you feel relatively safe. And like for example, on a Sunday, we have a Sunday market that the Malays will have, and they will bring all their food, and they will have all the stalls in the street, and they will go from street to street. One week they'll be at your street, next week they'll go to another street, and we will go to that street and we will buy their noodles or their rice or whatever they sell. And they are different race, but we live in harmony because generally people alone, they are all right. It's only politics that destroys it. And of course, the philosophy is the Malays do not have so many mates. It's the Chinese who have the mates because the Chinese are well off. And when they are well off, they like to employ a maid to look after their children or do the cleaning and all that sort of thing. And some of them ill treat their mates. Unfortunately, that's the kind of
Yeah,
society out there.
yes. And as I said, I'm concerned about more concerned about countries, uh, especially the average, the lower class people's
Yeah, the low
livelihood.
class.
In China, the gap between the rich and poor are very
Yes.
large. Yeah, I have
Yeah.
to admit that. So that's the government's job
Yeah.
to shorten the gap so that the people
You
from the
see,
poor area from
all
inland
right.
can get the opportunity as so
You
you see.
see, we have encountered that problem in the last century, and that's why we got a national system. Like for example, if you are poor, you will be given
Mhm,
housing, and
mm,
also they nationalize the health system. So therefore, if
mm,
you go to hospital for an operation, it
mm,
is free.
mm,
So we got all
mm.
this nationalization, and
Yes, yeah.
overall it's good. The poor will benefit, but
Mm,
the disadvantage is those who are poor, they claim to be
mm,
poor, but they are lazy. They know that okay, we
mm,
don't need to work, we can rely on the state for help.
mm,
So you
mm,
got good and bad points, but the good point is generally people will benefit from it.
mm. Yes, but I think that the system in Europe is much better than the system in America, in the States, because
Yeah,
Europe
in the
most
states they don't have it
mm,
because um,
yeah even
they if you don't have private health insurance, then you are
mm,
stuck because everything has to be paid.
yeah mm, yeah. So I think the policies in the policies Chinese government should adopt uh, should uh, learn more about
Mm,
policies in the
just cater for
uh,
the rest of the population,
northern, yeah, in the northern
especially the
Europe
poorer
countries.
sectors.
Yes, yeah, because we call ourselves a socialist country. We learn what is a
Mm,
socialist country, but rather than a capitalist country is we should care about the working class and
yeah,
the farmers. Yeah, and I
yeah, the
think
farmers, those who work so hard.
yeah, and so that's why I think we should learn more about the European countries, especially the northern and western.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, he's gone.
And the and the
Yeah.
and the gap between the rich and the poor,
Mm,
those issues have been dealt with in a very good way.
yeah.
Mm. And but China is still a developing country. Yeah, we should
Mm.
before we reach that stage, we should um,
Think about these others. Yes, these are the
mm,
problems.
we should develop the economy first. At the process of developing the economy, you know it's very usual that some people smart, no matter it's because of what kind of reasons, there
Mm,
must be some group of people, whether it's from the eastern provinces or uh, because of the education, uh,
yeah,
they can um, be much richer than the people from the inland provinces or from the
yeah,
countryside. But after the economy becoming
yeah,
more and more developed,
mm,
the government should pay more attention to the
yeah,
fairness, yeah, and
yeah,
um, education. I think very important thing, the most important issues in China
yeah,
is to solve the problem of education, healthcare,
yeah,
and housing.
mm,
Housing, yeah,
yeah. Housing,
like
yes.
yeah, these problems are solved. Yeah, then this country would be more comfortable to live in.
Yeah, it'd be
Mm,
fairer to all those people who
mm,
suffer. Yeah.
mm,
So that's why
yes.
in
So,
those years,
mm,
early years, all those people maybe
mm,
from Guangdong, they left the country because they were poor. it was before the Cultural Revolution, and they left it to go
mm,
to find another home. And when they found the other home, they worked very hard, and they just never want to go back to China to live. They've, they've
mm,
worked hard and they've made the money and they got a new life whereby they're happy.
mm,
It's like people from China who go to Australia. I've heard
mm,
the one from Wuhan. At one stage, she wanted to go to Australia because his wife is a doctor and
mm,
he was a doctor. And he said when they go to
mm,
Australia, they for the first couple of years they have to do odd jobs, like do just like working in a shop or anything until they can get their certificate
mm,
to be able to practice their profession. But they
mm,
were willing to do that because
mm,
they wanted to go there and experience a different lifestyle, which gives you a better
mm,
living without being too stressed out. Because if you work very,
mm,
very hard in China and you work so many long hours and you get very few
mm,
holidays, then you don't have time to relax and enjoy your life. At 30 odd years old, you're working very hard. That's okay. But if you have to work hard till
mm,
you retire, then you don't have much of a life. Whereas in the
mm,
West and in Australia and New Zealand, is it's a different kind of living, and you
mm,
can have time to relax and go on holidays and different
mm,
lifestyle. And that's why
mm.
they want to stay there.
Yes,
Of course,
because
I mean, there will be,
this mm, because those countries are have they are developed
yeah,
economies, so of course they can earn much a better salary in those countries and with more luxury time. Yes, I agree with
yeah.
that, but they should also uh, consider another issue is that if you go abroad, then you have the communication of culture shock or cultural difference, and
You will have the
the
culture
other is
shock,
the
but your
language.
children will not have the culture shock because the
Yes.
people who go over, maybe they are in their 30s, they
Mm,
have the culture shock because they are used to their own upbringing in China, but their children are educated in the West, so therefore the children are
mm,
very
mm,
westernized, and it's these children who will grow up and
mm.
not want to return
Yeah, I agree
because
with that.
mm,
I agree with you that the past generations, especially for the generation grown up
yeah,
before the open up and reform process. I mean, the generations grown before 1980s or
yeah,
1990s. The young generation, like my generation, the next generation, they would not choose to leave China. Even they go abroad for further education, most of them will go back nowadays. I heard a digit, a
mm,
number is that more than 80% of
will
the
go back.
because they're yeah, because nowadays there are like millions of students studying abroad, and
Yeah, millions,
more
yes.
than 80%. Yeah,
Yeah.
at least for my uh, classmates, because I have many classmates
Mm,
are studying abroad now, and almost all of them they will go back after they
yeah.
finish their
Because they know that when they go back,
programs.
they can get a good job.
Because
And
the young
and
generation have more
also,
opportunities.
yeah.
And
And
also
also
another
when
thing I have to say, mhm, another thing is that
yeah,
you say the
mm,
economic is more promising in China than
yeah,
that in the US. So they can have a better development
that's true.
opportunity. Yeah, and mm, and another reason why the young generation choose to go back is that I think is that nowadays uh, if you go to a Western country, you will be a minority minority group, and nowadays just especially in the U.S.,
Yeah,
yeah, the government just has a
yeah,
how's it that? because of the trade war or something,
Yeah.
they
Mm,
want to contain China's
yeah.
growth or China's development. So maybe you will not be very uh, comfortable living
Yeah.
in the States, yeah, in those countries, because like you are you're a very brilliant uh, doctor
I'm
or a
different.
very,
Oh yeah, but because I came early, I think like your classmates and all those who go abroad to
mm,
study for a master's
mm,
degree, they
mm,
will have come. I consider them coming late because they will only spend 2 or 3 years at most in this
mm,
country or in the West,
yes,
and they have already finished their undergraduate degree. They go over
mm,
for their postgraduate, and at that
mm,
point it is very, very difficult for the
mm,
Chinese who go over to be accepted and to mingle with the locals because you
yes,
are maybe 21 years old and it is
mm,
considered late. Whereas if you came
mm,
at 16 years old, even 18
mm,
years old, and did the better one is for you to come to school here. Then obviously
mm,
you've joined them and you're accepted as one of them.
mm,
But if you came
yes,
late, it's
mm,
very difficult. And on top of that, all the postgraduate students are all Chinese because in this
mm,
country, um, it's few and far between students who wants to go and study for a master's degree.
oh,
There's no need
oh,
for it. Yeah. So
yes,
therefore, in all the universities, all the postgraduate courses, they're all filled up by Chinese and
uh,
international students, but not
uh,
local students. Because local students
mm,
will not study for a master's degree unless they want to
mm,
do further research in science and
mm,
biology,
mm,
chemistry, and that sort of thing.
yeah, I
But apart
understand,
from that,
yeah,
everybody else will go out to work. So
mm,
therefore, you will not be accepted. So
mm.
no, because of that, you will not want to stay here. You will just want to go back to China.
And yeah, and another thing is that
Ah,
I think the biggest one is the language
mm,
obstacle, because if, even you've learned English in China
ah,
for many years, and
yeah,
English is not your mother tongue, and
yeah.
not like
They find it difficult.
you've brought up in English in the school
Yeah,
in Malaysia, but for students in China, we still consider English as a second language, as a foreign
yeah,
language. So it's very hard to master the language
yeah.
very
I
as a
agree.
native speakers. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So they have got that obstacle when they are
Mm,
talking and mixing with the locals.
mm, yeah.
And anyway, that's one of those situation.
Mm,
But other than that, I think, um, as you say, you would want a lot of them would want to go back to China because they've got a better prospect of a job out there. So why want to stay
mm,
in a foreign country?
yes. And uh, another, that's why most of the young generation, they just support
Mm,
the party and the government, because we
yeah,
find it, yeah, the future is promising, and the development is so rapidly,
yeah,
even especially after this coronavirus
yeah,
epidemic. Yeah, we
yeah,
find, yeah, uh, although the system is not like the Western system, and as long as it works, it can
yeah,
because just like because there's a called a 5-year plan in
mm,
our
yeah,
in our country. Yeah, I don't
yeah,
know whether you know it. Yeah,
yeah. Heard of it.
uh, yeah. The party just planned, uh, the long-term economic outlook.
Yeah,
Yeah, and if you look back for those past 5-year plans, almost all the targets and goals have been accomplished. Just
yeah,
for example,
yeah,
the party has planned in 2020, uh, all the population in China will be removed, how to say that, we get out of the abstract or absolute poverty. And
Yeah.
in 2020, and yeah, that's this year. And actually, it did, yeah.
Yeah.
All the, the, I don't know whether you know how we define the abstract poverty or abstract or absolute poverty. In
Mm.
some remote areas, people are very poor,
Yeah.
and and that plan is uh, to let all the people, especially the people from the remote areas,
Mm.
to get out of the previous ab, uh, absolute poverty
Yeah.
condition. So to achieve that goal, the local governments have to just as I said, uh, to renew their house, not even renew, to build new communities,
Housing.
yeah,
Mm.
housing, yeah. So that's what we can see and what we can feel. So actually,
Yeah.
yeah, the process we have we can see. And
Mm.
so we although the the system is different from the West, at least for me, I still believe, although there's some of my classmates, they always looking forward to the season in the West. But I don't really think the system is important as long as it works.
Yeah, that's why
Mm,
I always say don't criticize another country. You don't know enough,
mm,
and on top of that, what works for one will not work for another.
yeah,
China is a
just like you
huge
said,
country. Mm.
a woman was, it said the news is about a woman was sentenced to
Yeah.
prison for 4 years. I don't know whether
Mm.
it's because of his it's because of it's because she criticized the government or some
Yeah, we don't
or
know.
because of yeah, other
Mm.
real criminals she committed. Mm,
Yeah, we don't know,
every yeah, it's
and
like
it doesn't matter.
I, I also heard about that. I don't know whether you heard about that this news that a Chinese, very brilliant Chinese uh, American scientist in the States, and he was killed. Actually,
He was
because he
murdered.
planned to go back. Yeah, murdered. He planned to go back to
Mm.
China before he go back because he said he planned to go back to China. I think he's a scientist in
Oh,
the. He's very young actually.
yeah.
Mm, and he said he wanted to go back to China to work in a company or in a university.
Uh,
But before
yeah.
he went back, he was get murdered and
Oh
died
dear.
at a very young age.
Mm.
So every government has its just another example is that a general or a general in Iran or in some he was murdered by
Yeah.
yeah by Israel or some other
Yeah.
countries. So
Mm.
every government has uh, you know
It's like
some
the
bad.
Russia.
Mm,
Russia will just
mm,
murder anybody that they do not like. Give you poison. So it's terrible. That's why what kind of world is this, where people are so
mm,
wicked?
mm. Because
Yeah.
every country has their
Bad
benefits
points.
and their interests. Yeah, interests. So
Mm.
mm, mm, we just
Yeah.
cannot avoid it. Yeah, I understand that, but mm,
Yeah.
that's the
And that's
thing
why
is
I
yeah.
don't want to live in Malaysia, because I know that it's corrupt and it never changed. And because of that, I love it as a country. You know, I love the people, I love
The
the food,
people.
I
Yeah.
love the years, and I love the ordinary people, but I hate the politics. And it's so
Mm,
dirty and it's disgusting. And you know, the ex prime minister, he's supposed to
mm,
to go to jail for for
mm,
what he did wrong, like siphoning money laundering out of the country. I don't know whether
mm.
you've read about it, but you have to read it.
No, no. I've never heard about the politic news from the small countries. We only get the politic
Oh,
news like from
yeah.
most of them are from the States. Yeah, the
Oh,
United States presidents and European countries. Yeah, Britain and
but this
France,
one is bad.
Germany. So,
But anyway, it doesn't
mm,
matter um, because as I say, long ago, I already left it, and I go back just to see friends and family. But that aside,
mm,
nothing has changed in their way of governing. And when it's corrupt, it'll be corrupt. Whereas in Singapore, as an example, at least
mm,
people can live there and there's no corruption as such. Maybe there's a little, but
mm,
overall,
mm,
it's
mm.
quite a fair society, and that is good.
Yeah, I agree with you because sometimes mm, the economic development level or degree is connected
Yeah,
with the political
yeah,
corruption,
corruption. Yeah.
degree. Yeah,
Mm,
if just like you said, the Singapore is very the governments and the officials are very clean,
yeah.
and
Mm,
because the system works in Singapore, it's not because the officials do not want to be corrupt because they don't have to do that and they can live a
yeah.
comfortable life.
Mm,
Economy is very
yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but the economy in Malaysia is not as good as that in Singapore.
No.
So maybe the
Yeah.
corruption are more.
A lot of corruption.
Yeah, yeah, there.
Yeah.
Mm, like in China, in the
Yeah.
past 10 years to decades, the corruption was very uh, severe or very
Yeah.
there are a lot,
Serious.
yeah, very
Mm,
serious. So as the economy develops,
mm,
since it's getting better, and like you said, there are a lot of robberies in Malaysia, but China also has it in like 20 years ago, 30 years ago,
yeah.
because people are not very rich, and some people, especially the young
Mm,
people at
yeah.
that time, they were not well educated and they
Yeah.
have nothing to do, so they
Yeah.
do the
Go and rob.
robberies and
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
So things are getting better. I think Malaysia, yeah, for this country, since will also get better as the
No, it's
economy
not going to get
develops.
better because the
Really?
the police are very corrupt, and so it will keep on being like that.
Mm, okay,
But
I see.
anyway, that aside, it doesn't matter because I still go back there, and it's still, where I was brought up, and it's still got good food and still got
Mm,
nice people. So, overall,
mm.
I still like it. And don't like
But at
certain things
least,
of it, but
at least in KL, the capital of Malaysia is
yeah,
very uh, developed, very prosperous. Because
yeah,
heard, often heard about this city, and I think it's
yeah,
good in at least in KL,
yeah,
Kuala
yeah,
Lumpur,
KL. Mm.
mm,
We just call it KL. Everybody calls it
KL.
KL. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah. It's nice. As a place, there are certain places that are nice to visit, but I would say having visited China and Malaysia, I would definitely prefer China because China has got a bigger variety of places to visit. Like for example,
mm,
we've got beaches, the sea that people
mm,
like to go
mm,
to, but
yes.
I would say that Thailand has got nicer beaches. So
Mm,
when you've been to different countries, you can see the difference.
mm,
Yeah.
yes, I agree. Yeah, and
Yeah, but still
Chinese
there's good
people
food there.
also, yeah,
Huh?
Chinese I mean the Southeast Asia countries are very popular destination for Chinese
Yeah.
tourists. Yeah,
Mm,
like Thailand, yeah, Thailand, Singapore, and
yeah.
Malaysia, and
Mm,
Vietnam. Those countries have because they are cheap there, and mm, people are very also very friendly. Yeah,
yeah.
it's a very popular destination for Chinese nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good. Anyway,
So most of the
so
time,
ah,
we will not consider the politics in those countries,
no,
because if you go
yeah,
there, yeah,
just go
if you
and
don't live
see.
there, yeah. Mm.
Yeah. So tomorrow, are you free?
Mm, okay, tomorrow is Wednesday. Okay, I think I'm free tomorrow.
Yeah. And
Yeah, yeah, I'll be free.
I have
Uh,
sent you, okay. So I've
mm,
sent you this one. So when you
mhm,
listen to it and, see
yeah,
what you think of it, and I will
mm,
record a few short ones.
mm.
I'll see if I
I
can
also
find a
prefer
long
the
one,
short
but
ones.
yeah, I prefer the short
I
ones.
prefer the short
See if I can
ones.
find,
Yeah.
popular stories that everybody knows.
Mm, yes. Uh, those popular, yeah, stories people knows, and also
Yeah,
uh, just the simple ones,
yeah.
yeah, that people so that people can
And
understand.
how about
And
you recording in
shorter one.
Chinese? Do you still want to
No,
record in Chinese?
maybe I will try it when it's when I go back
When you're
to
free?
home this winter
Yeah,
vacation, because it's
yeah.
hard to record in my dormitory, because I have to. So
Oh,
it's very embarrassing when somebody comes in, because yeah, if you put the feelings,
yeah.
yeah, you
Of
have to
course,
pretend
yeah, I
the.
agree.
Yeah,
Mm.
it's very
It's
embarrassing. Somebody hurt
for
hear
example,
you.
if I were to go
Mhm.
downstairs and sit in the
Mhm.
breakfast room and I
Yeah.
got my computer there as well, and I take my computer there. But if I were to record it there, either my husband will
Mhm.
keep coming in and out, or my son, when he comes
Yeah.
in, he'll laugh at me. So, of course, I can't do it like that. He will
Uh,
just have a good
yes.
laugh and, make
Yeah.
fun of me. So, I can't have to do it in
Yeah.
my bedroom and just where nobody is listening and just do it like that
Mm,
because
yeah, I
as
agree.
you
Yeah.
say, you can't do it elsewhere. You have to have some
Mm,
privacy.
yeah, especially if you put your feelings in it. Yeah. It's very
Yeah.
embarrassing to be listened to. Yeah.
Yeah. So is it easy for you to put in the wording as well? I send
Yeah.
you the wording. Is it easy just to put the script up?
And yeah, it's very easy, because I just put the pictures you sent to me. I just cut
Oh,
the pictures,
yeah, and just load
and
it up.
load it up, and also with the recordings. Yeah, very only takes me like a few minutes, because I don't have to
Is it?
edit, and
Mm, it's better to put the pictures, isn't it? At least have some pictures to know so that people can see
pictures.
what they are reading.
Mm, yes, yeah. I think
Okay.
I have to put the pictures, the
Yeah.
stories beneath
Okay.
the recording. Okay,
Okay.
so
So we'll leave
shall we
it
stop
here
here?
and thank you very much.
Leave it
Yeah.
here.
Thank you very much.
You're
Okay.
welcome. Mm,
Okay.
okay,
Good night.
see you
Bye bye.
tomorrow. Bye bye.
Bye. Yeah, see you tomorrow.